Xenomorphs exhibit remarkable adaptability and a will to survive. Their unique genetic traits, including the potential for genetic memory transfer and the ability to inherit physical characteristics from their hosts, further contributes to their versatility and survival. In fact, their powers and abilities cover physical strength, stealth, adaptability, intelligence, and unique genetic traits. And these attributes, combined with their unyielding determination, make Xenomorphs an extraordinarily formidable species, capable of killing the strongest of beings. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, the 15 insane powers that you never knew Xenomorphs had. Let's begin, shall we? Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Number 1. Xenomorphs have extremely potent psychic abilities. Written by Mark A. Nelson and Mark Verheyden, Aliens Issue 6 introduces readers to a xenomorph ability that's nothing short of a superpower. In the comic, xenomorphs actually begin with their grand plan of a complete and hostile takeover of Earth. But how? Well, members of a religious cult named the Church of the Immaculate Incubation break into a lab where scientists were conducting experiments on xenomorphs and a xenomorph queen. The cultists freed the xenomorphs and offered themselves as hosts for new facehuggers. But why did the cultists sacrifice themselves? Well, they truly believed that it was an act of the highest honor, and that the biometallic monsters were actually cosmic gods. Interestingly, this obnoxious belief was planted in the minds of the Church of Immaculate Incubation cultists by the Xenomorphs themselves. So, essentially, Xenomorphs can enter the minds of humans and psychically control them. The Xenomorph Queen was able to make those poor cultists truly believe that the Xenomorphs were in fact gods. And not only that, but she also managed to make the cultists commit self-sacrifice. In fact, in the comic, the Xenomorphs managed to take over Earth, and innumerable xenomorph queens were building hives all across the planet. These queens would continue their psychic activities to push the humans to accept the apparent love and warmth that came with a facehugger's gentle embrace. In fact, Queen Mothers, the ultimate matriarchs and supreme leaders of xenomorphs, are known to have psychic abilities that can span millions of light years, and they can even induce dreams in humans while themselves sitting on Xenomorph Prime. While this particular aspect has not been extensively explored in the mainstream alien films, the Xenomorphs' ability to invade the minds of their victims and manipulate them into willingly accepting their own demise is a prime example of cosmic horror. Number 2. Xenomorphs can make alien hosts a xenomorph alert system. In the comic Aliens vs. Predator, Life and Death, Issue 1, written by Dan Abnett and illustrated by Brian Albert Thies, a group of human survivors find themselves engaged in a life or death struggle against a swarm of xenomorphs on the planet LV-223. Unfortunately, one of the humans falls victim to the terrifying fate of becoming impregnated by a xenomorph, becoming a host for the developing chestburster within her. She develops a peculiar sensory perception that allows her to detect the proximity of xenomorph hordes. This sensation manifests as a whisper-like presence in her mind, growing louder as the xenomorphs draw nearer. So you see, a xenomorph host actually develops an unexpected advantage due to their condition, which can be used against the xenomorphs. The feeling serves as an internal warning system, which can alert humans to flee. This ability is thought to be linked to the xenomorph's presumed psychic hive mind, which is commonly theorized to be their method of communication. While the concept of telepathic communication is not explicitly established within the franchise canon, it is widely accepted as the prevailing theory regarding xenomorph communication. Number 3. Xenomorphs are able to find their prey using 3 different super senses. Due to the absence of eyes, it is believed that xenomorphs use a form of echolocation to navigate their surroundings, similar to the echolocation abilities observed in bats. This may explain the frequent hissing sounds emitted by xenomorphs, which could be indicative of their reliance on auditory cues. Having said that, it is known that xenomorphs are capable of perceiving light and darkness to some extent, but what's more intriguing about their perceptive skills is the possible use of electroreception to locate prey. Electroreception is a sensory mechanism in certain organisms, such as sharks, that can detect hidden or immobile prey through perceiving electrical stimuli. This mechanism enables these creatures to perceive the electromagnetic fields generated by all living organisms. By detecting the electrical signals produced by the heartbeat of potential prey, even in the absence of movement, organisms with electroreception can effectively locate their targets. It's theorized that xenomorphs possess a similar electrical electroreceptive sense, allowing them to discern the electromagnetic fields emitted by other living beings. This electroreception capability may account for the uncanny ability of xenomorphs to consistently track and locate their human prey as well as other targets. But how do they figure out if a potential host has already been impregnated? Well, they can sense pheromones. This heightened olfactory perception allows them to differentiate between individuals who have been infiltrated by a xenomorph embryo and those who remain uninfected. By relying on this sense, xenomorphs can effectively identify suitable hosts for their reproductive cycle. The combination of echolocation, electroreception, and olfactory perception offers a comprehensive sensory repository for xenomorphs, which is indispensable for a hunter of their stature. Number 4. Their inner jaw is capable of shooting like a piston. The xenomorphs possess a highly functional and distinctive anatomical trait in the form of their inner jaw. It serves as the primary tool for subduing and incapacitating prey. But what makes it truly deadly is its ability to rapidly shoot out from the deadly insectoid monster's mouth. You know, something like a piston. The powerful propulsion of the inner jaw penetrates through bone and even metal. Referred to as the head bite, this attack has become a signature tactic employed by xenomorphs. The xenomorph first incapacitates its prey using its limbs or tail, then forcefully propels its inner jaw into the victim's skull, killing them for good. While the inner jaw is found in all xenomorphs, the length may differ. For instance, the albino xenomorph drone possesses an elongated inner mouth and is capable of secreting resin, so essentially, the primary purpose of the inner jaw is close quarters combat. In the case of the Yautja-spawned xenomorphs, or predaliens, the inner mouth may serve another purpose. These xenomorphs can sometimes use their inner jaw to implant chestburster embryos directly into a host's throat, similar to the facehugger stage. Number 5. Genetic memory transfer. The possibility of genetic memory transfer in xenomorphs is quite an intriguing topic that often divides fans. While the exact mechanisms and processes involved remain largely speculative, several instances suggest the existence of unique and fascinating methods for generational memory transfer within xenomorphs. One notable example comes from the events witnessed on the planet LV-871. A young survivor named Maxon Krieger recounted his encounter with a xenomorph spawned from his own mother, who had fallen victim to a chestburster. This particular xenomorph displayed a notable affinity for Maxon, showing reluctance to attack him. In a critical moment, when faced with a queen and her brood, the xenomorph turned against its own kind, viciously attacking the queen to protect Maxon. Such behavior indicates the potential influence of a genetic memory transferred from Maxon's mother, particularly her instinctive maternal drive to safeguard her child. Maternal instincts are a powerful thing, and the concept of genetic memory has been played with throughout the expanded material. It's part of why the cult of Immaculate Incubation believed it was a form of reincarnation that they still wanted after being willingly infected. Another compelling case is observed aboard the US CSS Nostromo in 2122, where the xenomorph showed some sexual tension towards crew member Lambert. The xenomorph's treatment of Lambert went beyond the usual violence, taking on a behavior that can be likened to sexual aggression. This behavior could potentially be attributed to the host's primal desires, which might have been transferred to the xenomorph spawn. The USM Auriga incident in 2381 offers further evidence of genetic memory transfer. Clone xenomorphs and a clone of Ellen Ripley, designated Ripley 8, exhibited inherited traits and knowledge. Ripley 8, despite being a clone, retained fragmented memories and a substantial amount of knowledge from her previous life. This suggests that the combination of xenomorph genetic material and the hybridization process enabled the retention of memories within Ripley 8. It is plausible that the xenomorph's unique genetics and the DNA reflex allow for the encoding of specific and crucial information from their host brainwaves into their genetic makeup. This could potentially enable offspring to inherit memories from both the xenomorph queen and the original host. Number 6. Resin secretion. Hive resin, also known as hive webbing or hive space, is a substance used by xenomorphs to construct their hives and encapsulate potential hosts. The material is excreted from the jaws of the xenomorphs, particularly by the drone and worker castes. Similar to the silk produced by terrestrial spiders, hive resin is a proteinaceous substance that undergoes hardening upon drying. However, unlike the insect silk found on Earth, hive resin is hydrocarbon-based. The xenomorphs excrete this resin as a clear saliva-like fluid, which quickly solidifies, enabling the creatures to swiftly build their hives and ensnare captured hosts. Once hardened, the resin takes on a darker, translucent appearance, often exhibiting shades of black, brown, and green. Despite its elasticity, the hardened resin retains exceptional tensile strength. The hive resin appears to serve a dual purpose. Firstly, it is used to cocoon and immobilize captured hosts for facehugger implantation. Secondly, its non-uniform bioorganic texture allows adult xenomorphs to blend into their surroundings, providing effective camouflage during periods of rest. Furthermore, it can also transform a few victims into ovomorphs, which is something I will discuss later in this video. It's worth noting that the hive's architecture also interferes with the operation of motion trackers, generating false readings that create the illusion of widespread movement and making it more challenging to discern genuine signals. The precise cause of this disruption is still unclear. Moreover, the resin exhibits resistance to the corrosive effects of xenomorph blood. There is a theory that the resin provides essential nutrients to the xenomorphs within the hive. It is believed that the resin may absorb and extract vital elements from the surrounding environment, such as soil or even metal, and present them in a format easily assimilated by the creatures. Given that xenomorph hives typically exhibit a hot and humid environment, it is conceivable that the resin can modify the local atmosphere to suit the needs of the nest better. Number 7. Pheromones are used for more than just communication. There are ample comics that suggest xenomorphs use pheromones to communicate and to some extent see things. But probably the most comprehensive and well-researched theory from the universe comes from Dr. Arnaud Eisenberg from the Alien vs. Predator 2 video game. His sympathetic theory of pheromone relations in xenomorphs from the year 2230 seeks to understand the xenomorph communication method from a scientific viewpoint. According to Eisenberg's theory, xenomorphs rely on the exchange of pheromones for communication purposes and exhibit a clear sense of self-preservation. As a result, holding a significant xenomorph strain, such as a queen or empress, captive could potentially reduce xenomorph attacks, leading to a swift and non-violent extraction. The queen or empress, driven by a desire to ensure her own survival, would cease any ongoing attacks initiated by drones, Praetorians, or other xenomorphs if she believed it would increase her chances of staying alive. Eisenberg also postulated a relationship between the pheromone discharges from the xenomorph hive and climate conditions. He speculated that by understanding and manipulating these pheromone signals, it might be possible to control and harness the behavior of xenomorphs. Moreover, it has been suggested that the detection of pheromones and the perception of fear emanating from their prey may influence the behavior and aggression level of xenomorphs during their attacks. Studies have indicated that xenomorphs may engage in brutal and gory kills when they sense their victim's intense fear. Conversely, when the prey is either unaware or less apprehensive of the xenomorph's presence, the kills tend to be cleaner and swifter. Pheromone detection likely assists xenomorphs in locating their prey, and since synthetic beings lack such chemical signals, the xenomorphs typically disregard them unless provoked. Number 8. Egg morphing. In a deleted scene from Ridley Scott's film Alien, a sequence depicts what a lone xenomorph drone does to survive and procreate when isolated from its hive. In this scene, Sigourney Weaver's Ripley discovers her colleagues, Dallas and Brett, encased in a thick and hardened resin produced by the xenomorph. Dallas, still alive but in the early stages of transformation, requests euthanasia to escape the impending horror. Ripley realizes that Brett has already succumbed and appears to be encapsulated within an alien egg, or ovomorph. Fearing a similar fate for Dallas, Ripley reluctantly uses a flamethrower to incinerate the resin, putting an end to Dallas's suffering and preventing his transformation into a xenomorph egg. During egg morphing, a lone xenomorph drone selects unsuspecting victims and envelops their bodies in a self-produced resin. This substance acts as a catalyst, exposing the captives to a combination of mutating enzymes and growth hormones. Over time, a grotesque transformation occurs, gradually reshaping the captive's body into the likeness of an ovomorph. The resin is expelled by the xenomorph from the barb of its tail, coating the victim in the process. The transformation typically takes approximately 24 to 36 hours, resulting in the creation of an active ovomorph housing a facehugger within. Once trapped within the ovomorph, the survival chances for the victim are exceedingly slim. While it is known that xenomorphs commonly cocoon their hosts for facehuggers, this egg morphing phenomenon occurs when a hive lacks a queen or when a drone becomes separated from its hive. The survival instinct of the drone compels it to produce an egg by any means necessary. While a drone's ability to produce eggs is less efficient than that of a queen, it serves a crucial purpose. It is plausible that these ovomorphs contain a royal facehugger, addressing the absence of a queen within the hive. Number 9. Structural adaptation. Xenomorphs exhibit a remarkable capacity for genetic adaptation, allowing them to assume certain physical attributes of the host organism from which they originate. And you see, this is indispensable for them. I mean, these creatures are known for their will to survive and procreate. It would become rather impossible for them to do so if they couldn't adapt to just about any environment on any given celestial body. This adaptability enables individual xenomorphs to more effectively navigate and survive within the specific environment of their host. During the gestation period, horizontal gene transfer occurs, wherein the xenomorph embryo attaches itself to a major artery of the host, thereby gaining access to essential nutrients for growth. It is hypothesized that the DNA acquired from the host's bloodstream intermingles with the embryo's own genetic material, compensating for its inherent lack of genetic structure. The resulting xenomorph may manifest a range of structural modifications, depending on the traits of its host. For instance, if the host is a bipedal organism like a human or predator, the xenomorph may adopt a thicker bipedal form, often accompanied by a darker exoskeleton. Conversely, when originating from a four-legged animal like a dog or bull, the xenomorph may assume a more slender and sleek appearance, adapting to quadrupedal locomotion and having a reddish or orange-colored exoskeleton. Additionally, certain facial features of the host organism, such as mandibles, may be incorporated into the xenomorph's final form, as observed when implanted in a predator. That's why predaliens, which emerge from Yautja hosts, display a distinct yellow-green skin overlaying their exoskeletons. Furthermore, it is plausible that xenomorphs acquire some degree of intellect from their host organisms. Quadrupedal xenomorphs, for instance, appear to be more susceptible to deception compared to their bipedal counterparts, suggesting varying levels of cognitive capabilities. Similarly, predaliens demonstrate a heightened understanding of the weaponry employed against them, indicating an enhanced adaptability and response to external threats. This could also be explained from the genetic memory transfer that happens between a host and the xenomorph it spawns. Number 10. Xenomorphs can survive in space. Pressure resistance. In the 2021 Marvel comic titled Alien, the story follows Gabriel Cruz, a former security head at the Epsilon Orbital Research and Development Station. Gabriel's estranged son Danny and his companions infiltrate the station to uncover the truth about the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. However, they encounter xenomorphs on Epsilon, leading to a dangerous situation. Later, it is revealed that Danny's girlfriend Iris is a rogue synthetic who opposes Weyland-Yutani. According to Iris, the xenomorphs serve as a cleansing fire in the cosmic scheme of maintaining balance by preventing any species from becoming dominant. Iris explains that arrogant species attempting interstellar travel are met with the xenomorphs as a means of purification. Many of these species have perished when attempting to use xenomorphs as weapons or merging with them to enhance themselves. In a notable scene from the comic, Gabriel finds himself outside the safety of a ship or station facing the Alpha Xenomorph. This situation is intriguing as battles against xenomorphs are typically confined to interior spaces. However, the Alpha Xenomorph survives and remains exceptionally active in the vacuum of space, indicating that the vacuum itself does not pose an immediate threat to this particular xenomorph. This is similar to what happened in Alien Isolation, the digital series, where stranded xenomorphs are shown hibernating in the wreckage of Sevastopol Station, surviving in space without additional tools. The Alpha looked horribly strong and huge. Xenomorph drones themselves are all things nasty, but the Alpha made them look tame in comparison. It had two huge pairs of wild buffalo-like horns instead of a head crest. It was most certainly more humanoid than most drones and possessed a sleek, muscular body. Even if we ignore this secluded incident, xenomorphs possess an exceptional ability to withstand extreme pressure, enabling their survival in environments such as the vacuum of space and deep water. Their acidic blood is highly concentrated and possesses corrosive properties. However, its specific function within the xenomorph's physiology remains uncertain, as it is unclear whether it transports nutrients throughout the body. It's also possible that the blood may serve as a means of energy source that eliminates the need for breathing. It could provide the xenomorph with enough internal pressure to sustain the pressure difference created by the space vacuum. Number 11. Xenomorphs have high degrees of intelligence. Contrary to popular belief, xenomorphs do exhibit a notable level of intelligence comparable to that of typical primates. While they don't possess the same level of cognitive ability as humans and Yautja, they are capable of learning and adapting quickly to their environment, and seem quite intelligent for their extremely feral nature. Xenomorphs have shown the ability to learn from their environment, such as understanding the consequences of certain actions, like attacking observatory glass, resulting in a release of extreme and cold. The Xenomorph Queen in particular displays considerable acumen in social behavior and the manipulation of human technology. The elevator incident from Aliens is a notable example. While it may require significant time for Xenomorphs to acquire the knowledge of operating machinery, other individuals of the species have demonstrated fast reasoning and the capacity to find creative and unconventional solutions to problems. For instance, some Xenomorphs have shown the ability to intentionally eliminate the weakest members of their group to exploit the corrosive nature of their acidic blood, which in turn allows them to escape containment. Furthermore, the intelligence level of Xenomorphs may be influenced by the characteristics inherited from their hosts. Adult Xenomorphs as predaliens have been observed exhibiting physical and mental traits derived from their host organisms. Additionally, as a eusocial species, the intellectual capacity of Xenomorphs may vary among different castes. In other words, higher castes with more responsibilities may appear to be more intelligent. But what about their emotional quotient? While Xenomorphs generally exhibit little emotion, they have shown signs of fear in the presence of fire or when there is a risk to their young. In some instances, the Queen Mother Xenomorph has been known to induce terrifying dreams and religious visions in potential hosts, leading to the formation of cults with the Xenomorph as a revered figure akin to gods from other mythologies. Number 12. Their tail is a deadly weapon. The Xenomorph's tail is primarily an offensive weapon, but it does offer some degree of balance to the creature. While the Xenomorph is capable of running on all fours, it often assumes an upright posture on its hind legs to effectively reach its prey with its arms. This bipedal stance also enables the Xenomorph to use its tail as a piercing weapon, impaling its victims and even lifting creatures heavier than itself to eye level, potentially preparing for a subsequent attack with its secondary jaws. Additionally, the tail serves as a highly efficient weapon due to its length, allowing the Xenomorph to strike from a significant distance. Its versatility enables Xenomorphs to even destabilize enemies by knocking their legs out from under them. And if that wasn't enough, the tail's flexibility allows for stealthy attacks, particularly when concealed in darkness or positioned behind an unsuspecting target. Even if the sharp tip of its tail is damaged or severed, it remains a formidable weapon. The Xenomorph can utilize the damaged tail to disperse its corrosive ass of blood in the vicinity. It is because of all these reasons that the predators usually harvest the tailbones of Xenomorphs to create weapons capable of withstanding the corrosive properties of the Xenomorph's acid blood.
Come on, Lex!
Number 13. They are excellent at camouflaging within their environment. The adult Xenomorph is a highly adaptive hunter and possesses remarkable strength and agility. It is a living weapon capable of thriving in various environments and conditions, but one of its most important skills is the mastery of stealth. The Xenomorphs remain dormant until an opportune moment arises to ambush their unsuspecting prey. This method often involves silently descending from above or impaling victims with their tails, catching them off guard. The Xenomorph's hunting skill lies in its ability to blend seamlessly with its surroundings. Through its dark and semi-translucent exoskeleton, the Xenomorph can camouflage itself within its nest walls or almost any artificial environment. The biomechanical-like appearance allows it to remain virtually invisible in low-light conditions or against backdrops. Number 14. Rapid growth. The Xenomorph species exhibits a fascinating and rapid growth rate, allowing it to rapidly reach its adult size within a remarkably short period of time. One of the most intriguing stages in the Xenomorph's life cycle is the chestburster phase. Contrary to conventional embryonic implantation, the chestburster is like a malignant growth within the host organism. It starts as a tumor-like structure that triggers the host body to construct the infant Xenomorph using its own biological material. This process, known as the DNA reflex, results in the developing embryo assimilating certain physical traits of the host, such as bipedalism, quadrupedalism, or even acquiring specific features like the mandibles of a predator. Over a relatively short time frame of less than 24 hours, or sometimes several days in the case of certain queens, the tumor matures into a chestburster. During this critical stage, the emerging creature forcefully ruptures the host's chest, and hence the name chestbursters. It's important to note that even if the growing organism is surgically removed, the chestburster development is typically fatal for the host due to its invasive nature. Following its emergence, the newly born chestburster instinctively seeks out a secure location where it can undergo molting and transition into its adult form. At this stage, the Xenomorph is relatively vulnerable. Initially measuring less than 1 foot in height, the chestburster undergoes a remarkable growth spurt. Number 15. The Queen's egg-laying capacity. The speed of xenomorph reproduction is not explicitly defined in the films or related media, but there are indications that a single queen can rapidly establish a hive. In the 1986 film Aliens, the xenomorph infestation on LV-426 appears to develop within a relatively short period, potentially weeks or even less. The colonists on the planet were unaware of the extent of the infestation until it had already spread extensively, suggesting that a queen is capable of populating an entire hive in a very brief time frame. Factors that may influence the speed of xenomorph reproduction include the availability of suitable hosts, the health and maturity of the queen, and environmental conditions. Xenomorphs require living hosts for reproduction, and if there is an abundant supply of such hosts, a queen can produce a significant number of eggs quickly. A healthy and mature queen may exhibit more efficient reproduction, while warm and humid environments seem to be preferred by xenomorphs and may contribute to faster reproduction rates as well. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, xenomorphs possess a diverse range of powers and abilities that make them one of the most formidable and adaptable species in the universe. Their inherent physical strength, agility, and stealth enable them to swiftly overpower and subdue their prey. The unique life cycle of xenomorphs, involving the chestburster stage and rapid growth, allows them to quickly become a significant threat. Their sharp claws, inner jaws, and deadly tail serve as formidable weapons in combat, capable of impaling, slashing, and incapacitating adversaries. The xenomorph's acidic blood adds another layer of defense, dissolving obstacles and deterring attackers. With all of these new additions to the xenomorph's arsenals, I think the evolution of the xenomorph through movies, comics, and games is something that would have made H.R. Giger very proud. But what do you think is the deadliest adaptation of the xenomorph? Let us know in the comments section down below, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.